Mathematics.
Math is really the language of science, and so whatever science you do, whether it's astrophysics, biology, geology, any of the sciences, you really need to have a strong foundation in math. And so I definitely encourage you to take any opportunity to learn about math. Try to get as far as you can in your math curriculum, because it's really going to carry you throughout your life as a scientist.
Well, the first place is you need to do math. If you can't do math, you're going to have trouble with science. Going into science from math, I saw what a beautiful application of the math it was in science. I mean, Newton created calculus so that he could do physics.
I love mathematics, and I think falling in love with mathematics is really good start to becoming a scientist in this sort of field. And so I'm in solar physics, but this applies to any area of astronomy or physical science or biological sciences. So these are very important skills. Computer coding,
computer programming,
computational skills,
computer sciences.
The computer coding I learned in school will be different from the computer coding that you will be learning, but that's okay. I mean, you should learn the computer coding that is being done because the basic principles are still the same, the way you organize your thoughts and get them machine to operate the way you want it to.
So I mentioned computer programming. Certainly software development and software engineering is a critical need for any kind of data analysis and data image processing that we'll be doing for our mission, for example.
If you are a young person looking for a career in science, I would say that learn some Python coding. Python is really good. There's a lot of computational aspect related to doing any sort of data analysis, which is a large part of astronomy, of course. So having some computational skills and some knowledge of programming languages is always very valuable.
I think digging into any kind of computer science is good, programming language is good. Computer science is constantly evolving, and particularly more so in the modern day with the advent of machine learning and AI. When I started doing heliophysics, there was one programming language that tended to be the one that everyone used. And then, over the course of my career, that's changed and evolved. And really, it's not so much about which programming language that you learn, it's about learning the skills to be a programmer, learning how to write an algorithm, how to put that into a code so that you can do the thing that you're trying to do. And so those programming skills are kind of transferable to any other language because they're very similar. It's just a matter of syntax. And so any programming experience that you can get is going to be useful to helping you in the future.
Writing,
communication skills,
scientific writing,
communication.
There's some other skills too that are important. I did not realize initially how important communication is in science. And one thing you have to do is you have to convince folks that the research you're going to do is going to be worthwhile. So in order to do this, you have to be able to write effectively. And this means to have good writing skills, to write concisely and get your points across in a way that is simple enough for people to understand who may not be total specialists in your field, but it has to be specific enough and include enough detail to really get the science across. And so it takes a lot of time and a lot of practice to develop these skills. And so I think it really helps to work on those.
So as you're going through your coursework and your classes, don't neglect the people skills. Really, leadership and communication skills. Even if you're an engineer, even if you're like the best electrical engineer there is, you've got to be able to communicate your design to other people, whether that is a piece of hardware or whether it's a new scientific discovery. You have to be able to communicate that. So to me, I think besides the basic foundations of education of math and science and reading and comprehension, you really need to be able to communicate your thoughts. So take some time on that as well.
You have to be able to present the science that you're doing as a scientist and talk to other people about it and be comfortable speaking in front of people at conferences and that sort of thing. Joining the theater club at your school, or taking an improv class, or just anything that's performative where you get in front of an audience and talk or sing or whatever it is.
There's actually a special type of writing that you really want to try to learn to understand. This is called scientific writing. And so when you're writing as a scientist, you are presenting your research in a different way than you would in a normal day-to-day conversation. And a lot of universities will have scientific writing classes that you can take to learn how to do this.